Hey guys, I want to talk to you a little bit today about first date standards, just to elaborate a little bit more on some points as far as setting up your first dates are concerned if you're out there in the dating world doing all this stuff. And let me first start out this video by saying that I hope that everything that you consume on my channel, you just have the understanding that all of these things that I talk about, I'm talking about them because I've made the mistakes myself in the past, and I think that goes for anybody on the face of the earth that's trying to teach or aid or spread some knowledge in whatever fashion that comes in. It's all just born out of a past of failures and learning. So I hope that none of this comes across in a condescending manner, but these are just things that I have experienced and feel like I've learned pretty well at this point. And with this one today, it's kind of a little bit of a challenge for you to hold yourself to a higher standard. And I want to talk a little bit about these first dates. I think for most of us guys, when you first meet somebody, be it in a real world setting or you meet them online, which is very common these days, you want to go in with something simple. I think there's a lot of reasons to do that. Obviously, if you're a guy listening to this, you know how many damn first dates can get set up that will never go anywhere. And if you're out there doing expensive, extravagant things every single time you go on first dates, it's not going to work. It's not realistic, and it's not fair to you. And that's just the facts of the matter. Whether or not people hate that or love that, that's fine. But I think for anybody that's walked a mile in a man's shoes, that's been out dating these past couple of years or any time in your life, you would probably agree with that. So that's the first thing. The next thing I want to talk about, though, is just this concept that I really think that you need to have a set of standards that you abide by for yourself. And what I mean is when you make a first date with somebody and you extend an offer to go do something. Now, this is totally up to you. I mean, if you have the money and you want to choose to do something extravagant on the first date and you throw that out there and invite somebody to do something, that's fine. But I'm very specifically talking about these instances where you try to set up something like a coffee date, right? Something very simple, right? You'll have kickback a lot of times from women for a number of reasons. I don't really know that I could speak to all of why these reasons are exactly, but whatever the case is, it doesn't matter. A lot of times you'll get this kickback about they don't like the date that you've set up perhaps or offered, and they come back at you and offer something else as a counter, right? So like as an example, this happens all the time. You know, hey, do you want to go grab coffee? Like, well, how about we go grab a glass of wine or two instead? Or how about we go to dinner instead, right? Just take a step back and think about exactly what is going on in this situation. You're making an offer for something and they are on their own accord trying to up the ante or basically bargain for more, right? You know, anything above and beyond a coffee date or grabbing ice cream or like a boba tea or something like that is, it's stepping things up a little bit. And like I said, I don't always understand the psychology behind the female's actions in this sort of circumstance. I think generally speaking, if somebody wants to get to know you and is genuinely interested in you, it doesn't matter if you're drinking coffee or an expensive bottle of champagne or you're out at a really nice restaurant enjoying like a fine dining experience. Like in all of those scenarios, really think about it. If somebody really is interested in getting to know you, none of those things matter. They just want your presence. They just want to know who you are as a person. So right off the bat, this to me at this point in life is a very big red flag, right? Think about the basic overarching concept here once again. You've shifted out of a scenario where like you're putting an invite down, it's either a yes or no, I want to do this, into a negotiation, right? Like the woman, for whatever reason, is trying to negotiate for something more. So right off the bat, that should tell you something about the type of person that you're beginning to involve yourself with. And I know there's a lot of people out there that would come and listen to this and think like, oh, well, you're just being cheap and you're just, whatever. But I challenge you guys, like, to forget about that. That's brainwash right there. That's a bunch of bullshit. Like, what I'm talking about here is it's not about the money. It's about the principle of the thing. And like, you need to be a man of principles and you need to have standards. And I really think that as far as these first dates are concerned, you need to have a standard of what you're comfortable with and what you're okay with, and you need to stick to that standard. And when people start trying to ratchet up and bargain for more and you're not ready or comfortable for that, you need to have the power to walk away from that situation. I know this is going to terrify a lot of guys out there, right? Like, you've been communicating with somebody, you probably think they're very attractive, and it's like you go the coffee route, they come back with the dinner or drinks route, and you're like scared of losing them, right? You're scared of not getting to see them again or something like that. And so like, you just go along with it, right? Right off the bat too, I guarantee you that in this woman's eyes, that's further devaluing you. Like, just being somebody that goes along with something like that so readily, it speaks volumes about yourself, your character, the way you hold yourself, your, what I think, like your sense of self-value in this fashion. And I just want to call your attention to the fact that women have standards when they go out and they begin to date, right? Like, guess what? Like, she's not going to sleep with you on the very first time that you meet her. That is a standard, right? That's a standard that will very likely not be compromised with like 99.9% of women out there. And that's fine. That's a great standard to have. But it's like, why is it okay for them to have these standards, yet for you, you're willing to compromise on your standards, right? And I don't mean for this to be like this tit for tat thing, like when you're first trying to start to get to know somebody, but I'm just challenging you guys out there to like, keep it simple, like start with something very basic, make an offer, an invite to do that. And if they come back at you with something else, then turn it down or say, hey, well, like, I'm sorry you're not interested in coffee right now, or I'm sorry you're not interested in like, basically like getting to know the person that I am right now, and you're more interested in like trying to like get some more experience or something more of value to you at this moment in time out of this situation, but that's above and beyond getting to know me as a person. Have the balls to walk away in that situation, right? It's just, like I said, it goes far above and beyond the money, and it's just a matter of principles. And I really challenge you guys to be men of principles. It's going to garner you a lot more respect, I think, in general in the world. Like, once you get a command of this mindset, and you'll be surprised. I think you might lose a couple here and there, but a girl that's really, truly, sincerely interested in you, right? If you turn her down and say, no, I'm not going to buy you dinner on the first night, I'm taking you out, I barely know you, I have no idea who you are. Dinner is what you do with your girlfriend you take your girlfriend of 5 years to the steakhouse on her birthday. If you got a girl that's trying to go to a steakhouse on a first date with you, like, just think about the ridiculousness of that. And like I said, I guarantee you in this woman's eyes, she knows that any guy that goes along with that is not a high value individual. And like, right off the bat, you're at a deficit. So it's just a bad way to be. You've got to keep these dates, I won't say simple, I would just say like, whatever your standards are, keep it to that. I mean, hey, if you like to do wine on the first date, that's great. If you make an offer to go to wine and she accepts it, awesome. If you make an offer to go have a couple glasses of wine and she comes back with the steakhouse, then like, red flag, like, move on, forget about that one. Or let her come back, when she's ready to have that glass of wine with you or something. Be tactful about it. You don't have to be a complete dick, when you have this interaction with people, but just be cool, calm, collected, like in your mind and in your heart of hearts, like, know the way you operate, know your standards, be familiar with them, uphold your standards, don't compromise your standards for anybody. It's going to take you further, and it's going to get you more quickly towards the types of women that you probably really want to have in your life at the end of the day, than going this other route where you allow yourself to lax on your first date standards. This is a very, very important concept, and I know it takes courage and balls and just whatever you want to say, but this is such it's an important piece, guys, when you're very first starting out any relationship with a new woman. All right, guys, hope you're having a wonderful day. We'll talk to you real soon.